Oh, call to order. President Bush and Iraqi President Talabani met today for about an hour in the Oval Office. The two leaders had a very good meeting. They covered a range of subjects. They spoke about the importance for Iraq to move forward on national reconciliation. The Iraqis are currently working to finalize 3 key pieces of legislation. The president said how important it is that the Iraqi parliament pass these laws, and President Talabani agreed.
The White House has been pressing the Iraqis to pass these bills for nearly a year, if not more, and you keep on expressing impatience with it not being passed. Did he give any deadline today? Did he say by when they might get?
Well, obviously, I understand, and we have been pressing them for a while. Made incremental steps, laid out the framework to get these laws done. Hopefully we should see movement on that soon. President Talabani also recognized how important it was to get these done as soon as possible. The president can push. He is working, and he's doing a pretty good job, working towards the same goal. He did not give him a specific deadline.
Did Talabani give any indication by, say, when he thought these laws would be passed?
He was hopeful. He said that he thought that there was a good political environment right now for them to be able to move forward.
Is that any different from anything anybody's been hearing for months?
Well, I think that you have to look at what has happened on the ground, starting to move forward. I think that they're moving in the right direction.
That one line, the president stressed the importance, and Talabani agreed. It's a little Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Well, these are issues that are complicated, very complicated issues.
Will the president be satisfied, say next spring when we come back with the next report, if we still have promises of good intentions in the Iraqi parliament but no real net results there?
Well, I think obviously there's a lot of pressure on it. But if the laws don't pass, I think the president would remain frustrated. But I can't. That's a hypothetical. I don't think I can get into it.
Since you say the president is not looking at any deadlines with the Iraqi government, but he's urging them, what are the expectations out of this meeting?
Well, I said, Terry asked me if the president had given them a deadline to pass the bill, and the answer to that was no. The president understands that the American people are impatient, but more importantly, he also understands that the Iraqi people are also impatient with their government. And having two leaders get together to talk about how do you push and make sure that this is all going in the right direction, that they achieve what they've worked to achieve on these 3 bills, I think that it's very worthwhile for the president to meet with President Talabani.
But if you're saying he's not giving a deadline, they can just keep on business as usual.
I think that I believe that they understand their sense of urgency as well. I really do. Jean?
Did President Talabani bring up Blackwater and what was discussed with
No, ma'am. Did not. No. John, did you? John?
She asked my question.
Oh. Do you have another?
Dan?
Okay. Let's go to Karen.
Just to follow up on that, did Talabani bring up Blackwater? Did they discuss it at all?
No, it was not discussed. It did not. It did not come up. Obviously, the State Department, Department of Defense, the Iraqis are all working towards finding out what happened. So there was no discussion about it.
Since you're saying there is an investigation into Blackwater, was Talabani asked or urged not to bring it up since there is a federal government investigation into this?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Why wouldn't the issue of Blackwater come up? Prime Minister Maliki has been very critical of the, and Blackwater is now operating again in Iraq. Why would that not be something that he would discuss with President Talabani?
Well, I think that if the issue would have come up, I think the president would have talked to him about it.
And is President Bush satisfied the way Blackwater is now conducting itself because they are now operating?
I haven't asked him. I don't think that he has any reason to believe that they're not at the moment conducting themselves appropriately.
Dan, on Iraq's Congressman Murtha and some other Democrats are now talking about a war tax. They're talking about a new surcharge that would pay for the war in Iraq. They say it'll raise about $150 billion a year. Is that dead on arrival at the White House, or does the president think maybe there should be some sacrifice to pay for the war?
Well, we've always known that Democrats seem to revert to type, and they are willing to raise taxes on just about anything.
Well, when you talk about priorities, tomorrow we're expecting the president's going to veto the S-chip bill over saving $30 billion, and meanwhile you're spending hundreds of billions of dollars in the war in Iraq.
I think it's apples and oranges to try to compare S-chip to funding for the troops.
The federal budget, you do have to pick priorities on what you're spending money on, don't you?
Well, I think what the president wants is for S-chip to revert back to what is the original intent of the law, which is that the neediest children should be taken care of first. I would also say that, in a time when Democrats are very concerned, supposedly, about people worried about how they're going to pay for their mortgage, that raising taxes on them doesn't seem like the wisest fiscal policy. In a time when they think that they want to increase funding for children's health care, they're actually wanting to pay for it with a cigarette tax, which includes people who smoke are usually ones, the majority are in the low-income bracket. It's just completely irresponsible. Stop the madness on Capitol Hill. And on this idea of raising taxes on the American people right now to fund the war, well, does that sunset? Do they wait for Al-Qaeda to wave a white flag and then those taxes are going to go away? Does anyone seriously believe that the Democrats are going to end these new taxes that they're asking the American people to pay?